Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to be doing this video. This is going to be a review, and I'm going to be talking about the recent Netflix young adult drama series that just premiered, which is titled Far From Home. So I'm actually really excited about this video because I've been wanting to do this ever since I watched it a couple of days ago. I just want to express my thoughts on how I felt about it and what I think about it. So this video is going to be filled with a lot of spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, please just leave. Except you don't mind spoilers, then you can stay and complete the video. But if you are not a fan of spoilers, I'm going to be talking about a lot of things that happened, and there's going to be a lot of spoilers moving forward. So let's get into it. First of all, I'm just going to talk about the story and the premise and what it's about. It follows Ishaya. Ishaya is he's supposed to be a teenager, I think, but we never really got to know how old he was. But he lives with his parents in Lagos, Nigeria, and they're not from, from the good parts of Lagos. They're really poor. They don't have money. They're living hand to mouth. They can't even pay their rent, and where they live is not the best place for anyone to live. So he's an artist. His dad was an artist, but now his dad is in a wheelchair from an accident, and he has this big dream of being the best artist in the world, just being called in like the biggest places with the big people, just being among the big leagues basically. And to him, nothing can get between him and his dream, and he ended up getting this opportunity to work side by side with his mentor in London. And this program would entail him having to get a ticket, paying for his trip to London, and Ishaya doesn't have the money for that at all, which leads us to what happens after. All he wants to do is find the money, get this money, and get out of this lifestyle that he's currently in with his family. And it's a very interesting story because although what I'll say is this is not anything new. We've seen things like this in a lot of other TV shows, Hollywood TV shows to be precise. To be honest with you, when the trailer for this came out and when the poster came out, I was like, I don't know about this. Like, I don't like when I see, as much as there are places in Nigeria that have this whole aesthetic of like the US and the UK and how they behave in their schools and how they just do their things in their schools, but at the same time it's like there are just some things that just don't feel authentic. So when I saw the poster and the trailer, I was like, this is giving me very much Gossip Girl, very much Riverdale, or one of all these shows. Is giving blood and water, and I don't like getting that vibe from Nigerian shows. Like, I want to watch a Nigerian TV show, a Nigerian movie, and feel like I'm watching something out of Nigeria, not something out of Hollywood or one of these other countries. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to put all these feelings to the side and watch this and see what it's really about. First of all, I didn't like that everyone on the trailer, on the poster, looked like fully grown men. Not saying that people in all these other shows, they're not like 20-something-year-olds or even 30-something-year-olds, but the key thing is that they look like teenagers. Most of them really look like teenagers. They look like young people. So, and sometimes they don't even always use people that are like in their late 20s or 30s. They do use people that are like 19, 18, early 20s in some cases. So, which makes it even better because they look more like teenagers than people that are like in their late 20s or late 30s. I don't know how old most of these people are on this show, but I'm pretty sure that they are not in their early 20s. So when I saw the poster, I was like, these people look really fully grown and mature with like beards and everything. So how old are they supposed to be? Are they supposed to be 17 or 18 or 16? Like, what is the situation here? So when the show started, I was like, okay, it started off well. I'm not even going to lie. It started off really well, and it kept on it had a nice pace, but at the same time I just felt like it was just everything was on a high from the beginning to the end. There was no time that we could like calm down and properly like take everything in. It was just like, you know, there was just always something happening, and it was just a lot going on. And Ishaya did a lot of things. I'm trying not to I'm trying to do this review without giving out too much spoilers, but it's not going to be possible, so I'm just going to go with it. So basically, Ishaya, his sister wanted to go to this school, this Wilma Academy. According to them, is the most prestigious school in Nigeria, and his sister had this dream of going there and, you know, try getting the right education to become a doctor. And Isha wanted to help her. He gave her, you know, some money. I think, oh, wait, did he give her some money? No, he took her to the school to have the scholarship exam, but they needed 150,000 naira to for the scholarship exam, which is funny because if it's a scholarship exam, why do I have to pay a whole 150,000? I'm not even like 50k. Like, you want me to pay 150,000? If I had 150,000, would I be here looking for scholarship? So that was just so funny. And of course they don't have 150,000, but in a funny way, Isha realized that he needed to get into this school to be able to find a way to get to London, because there was a $10,000 prize in quotes attached to the whoever was going to win the scholarship, and he needed to win that scholarship because he had to just leave Lagos and get to London. And when he cheated his way into getting the scholarship, he you know, hid all of this information from his sister and from his parents, which I just think was funny, because how did they just not even know that their child was, you know, doing all of this? He got a whole scholarship. Like, I don't know, does that really happen? Like, or did they not just have that kind of relationship that they were just somewhere else, and then your child got a whole scholarship? Even the sister did not know. Maybe he was just able to hide it so well because it was just a bit but anyways, he got the scholarship and got into the school, and his whole mindset was that, you know what, I'm just going to come here, you know, after getting the scholarship, get my $10,000 and I bounce. But he was unable to get the $10,000 after borrowing money from his best friend to forge his, what was it called, the thing where you have all your results, your transcripts. Yeah, so he borrowed money to do that. He even ended up at some point stealing money from his boss, who is a drug dealer. So it was just a very funny case. And at the end of the day, when he thought they were going to give him $10,000 and he was going to live his best life, they told him that, oh, we have minused all the bills for this for your uniform and your books and your and you are left with 5,000 naira. It's like, excuse me, from 6 million naira to 5,000, how? So at the end of the day, it wasn't really a scholarship. It was just, I don't even know what, just a way to do whatever they wanted to do, but they did not, that was not a scholarship. Because at the end of the day, he kind of paid for it, even though it was not really his money. So again, another thing I would say was that they were supposed to be in a school, and it felt like, was it a boarding house? I don't know if that's a boarding house, because it's like, oh, you're my roommate, I'm your roommate, but they kept leaving and coming. I'm like, I don't understand, is this how it is? I went to a boarding house from JSS1 to SS3, and we never even though it's not like my school was one of all the most prestigious school in Nigeria, but we did not have the rights or the opportunity to just leave anytime we wanted. I did not understand that part, and I don't even know, like, I wish they kind of gave us a like, just let us know how old they were, because in my head I'm like, are these people actually, because aside from the fact that they look like fully grown men and women, it just did not feel like they were actually teenagers. Like, I get that all the other shows use adults to act teenagers, but this, like, sometimes we get an idea of how old they are. Oh, this person is turning 18, this person is turning 17, but this ones like, they never even mentioned it at all. So it was just a bit weird to me and funny. So let me see. So what I loved about it was it had the soundtrack was probably my favorite part about the series. I love the soundtrack a lot, but I liked how they used the right songs for the right scenes, but I kind of wish that they had like original songs also. But that's just me being, but I did like the songs they chose and all of that. Again, I wish they used songs that were not that popular, because 99% of the songs they used were all really popular songs that were all on the charts and all of that. I wish they used songs from artists that we were not really that familiar with. So I feel like the writing was it was good. It was good to an extent, to a very great extent. I'm not even going to lie, but the screenplay, I wasn't really excited about it, because sometimes, like, it just felt a bit too predictable to me. Like, it's like I would know I know what was going to happen next in, like, almost every scene, or what this person was going to say. Like, it just felt very, very, I mean, shows like this are usually quite predictable, but sometimes just, let us just guess a bit. So I kind of felt that way in certain scenes and with certain characters. I felt like there were so many big names attached to this show, from Adesua to RMD. It was just so many people, and I wondered why they did that, because Adesua's character, for example, she was the art teacher. She was like a very, I don't want to say irrelevant character, because it was a good character, but at the same time, not for someone like that. Character is not something I would imagine for an A-list actress. So I was like, okay, what's going on here? Like, I get RMD and all these other people, but we barely even get to see them do that much. Like, throughout the entire series, probably see them in like 3, 4, 5 scenes, and that was it. And they didn't really do anything worth remembering. So what was the point of using all these big names and they didn't really do anything serious with their talents? So I kind of had a problem with that, because I when I'm seeing all these big names attached to a show or a movie, I'm just wishing that at least most of them had something, vital, or their characters had something vital to add to the entire movie or the entire series, just to make it quite unforgettable. But I never felt that way with any of these big names. And to be very honest, the characters were very forgettable. I think the only character that was not that not unforgettable for me was Isha's best friend. For some reason I can't remember his name, but Isha's best friend, he just had that feeling of I'm going to help my friend, I'm going to do anything possible to help him, even though he's the most selfish person in the world, but I'm going to help him, I'm going to give him the last money I have that's not even mine. And that was such a nice thing to do. And that character, I really like that character. But for the others, I would say that it was just quite forgettable. So they didn't really do anything memorable for me to remember. And for the character of Atlas, I just feel like his whole he's a bad guy, but they were trying to do too much with so many little plots that they just did not do anything with. And his own thing of him, his father being dead and his mother being absent and all of that, like, what was the point of that? It never really materialized to anything, in my opinion. I get that they're trying to like make us understand him a little more, but I think it was just irrelevant, in my opinion. I just found it very, very irrelevant. Okay, for the acting, I think that the acting was pretty decent, to be very honest. It was pretty pretty decent, and all the actors, they brought their A game to their characters, and they all did a they did a good job with everything that they did. I don't think there's anyone that particularly stood out for me. I don't think there's anyone that particularly stood out for me, but I really enjoyed watching Bolale Ninalo as usual. I think he's just a very hilarious person, and he just always brings this comic relief to like a lot of movies and TV shows he's in. And although I feel like he's always acting kind of the same character but with different names and different scenarios and situations, but they just always feel the same to me. But I don't mind it. I find him very funny and very interesting to watch, and his character of Rambo, I always laughed in most of these scenes. I just found him very funny. And I want to go back to something I missed. Ishaya had a girlfriend, Adufe. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing this name very well. I'm not Yoruba, but her name was Adufe, and she broke up with him for not telling her that he wanted to travel. He had plans, or he was thinking about finding a way to leave Nigeria to London, and she got pissed, she got angry, and then she broke up with him. And in 0.5 seconds, she's in the arms of Rambo, played by Bolale Ninalo, who is the owner of this strip club Rush, where Ishaya also works at. So it's like, I don't understand that it was so quick for you to just quickly move on after, according to you, everything you guys have been through together and all of that. And it was just weird for me, because I was like, is she supposed to be a teenager? Like, how old is she supposed to be? If she's with Ishaya, then she's supposed to be probably like, I mean, for someone that's supposedly in high school or whatever it is they call that school, you're supposed to be like 17, 16, I think max 18. So I was like, wait, well, is she older than him, or is she 18? Is she 17? Like, what is she doing with this Rambo guy? Is he not supposed to be like a man that's like, I get that things like that happen, but I just wish that we had, like, again, going back to the fact that we had no idea of how old they were. It just felt really weird to me. Like, what did Ishaya do to you that was so bad for you to run all the way to this club owner that is not a good person? He's a dangerous person, and he's into all this crime and all of that. Like, that whole thing just does not make sense to me. I wish they found a better way to like give her this motive to want to leave Ishaya and run to this. I won't say she ran to him, he saw her and he liked her, but at the same time she could have said no, but she went and she started a relationship with the man. So I just felt like there was no motive towards that. It was just a very weak motive for them to say, oh, she's so pissed and so angry, after all I've done for you, and then you just start dating this old man that should probably be twice your age, supposedly, if they were like teenagers. So it was just, I just found that a bit confusing. Yeah, I felt like the character development was pretty low, and they're just different things going on, and they don't really like build up to anything really crazy. Most of the focus is on Ishaya. Yes, he's the main character, but if we are bringing all these other little plots that were not properly done, in my opinion, then we need to get more from all of that. But to me, I didn't really feel that. And this all boils down to the fact that I feel like it was very rushed. I feel like it was rushed. It was like they were just like, okay, let's just go and just get this thing done. Five episodes and we're done. Like, it just felt really, really rushed. Like, it was just so much going on from the beginning to the end. Like, can we breathe? Can we breathe? Can we calm down? Can we just wait and take it in and before we see what happens next? But it was just like back to back, and this left little to no room for proper character development, including for Ishaya. So I didn't really enjoy it in that regard. But I'm not going to lie, I did. It was interesting to watch. It was entertaining to watch, but I would compare it to something like Gossip Girl. The reboot, to be precise, is just like, what are you guys talking about? Like, what are you doing? To me, it's just a lot of storylines that don't really add up to anything, and at the end of the day, it's just like, please, I'm just going to forget about all of this. At the end of the day, there's nothing worth remembering at the end of the day. So that's what I'm going to say. And when I compare it to the other recently done Netflix series, Blood Sisters was quite unforgettable. I really like, even after watching it, I kept replaying certain scenes in my head, and how I'm not saying that these are two these genres, they're the same. Like, these two shows, they don't have the same genres, but I'm just comparing it in the sense that they are both Netflix series from Nollywood. I'm comparing it in that sense. So Blood Sisters was very unforgettable, in my opinion. The acting, they were just, the characters, they were just things they did and said that I would remember. But with this one, I did not feel that way. It just felt like bam 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 bam, let's just do this and get out of here. That was how I felt about it. And I was like, okay, so if I'm watching a show, what am I really getting from this? Like, what was the, like, what is the umbrella we're under? Like, are we under the umbrella of, we're trying to talk about how important mental health is? Are we trying to talk about how Nigeria can be very difficult for people, and people go through a lot, poverty? Are we trying to talk about drugs and how it's not good in the society, drug dealing and all of that? Like, are we trying to talk about how parents can be very neglecting of their children, and all they think about is how they can show a good face outside, but inside is just struggles upon struggles? Like, we get that there are these little elements, but what is the main theme of this? Like, what is the main thing that we are supposed to think about when we think about this show? Like, what was the whole point? What was the whole point? So Ishaya is more like an anti-hero. I did not particularly like him, to be honest, and I wasn't particularly rooting for him. So, but in the grand scheme of things, he's kind of like an anti-hero. He just does mean things, and I don't even like. I just think he's not a likable character, in my opinion, because in this kind of situation, I would want to root for you just as much as I'm like, oh my god, you shouldn't do that. No, that's not nice. An example will be Walter White in Breaking Bad. Walter White was such a terrible character. He was a horrible person. He wasn't a terrible character. He was a horrible character. Like, he was not a nice character. He was selfish, just like Ishaya. Like, he was thinking about himself. He thought he was not doing it for himself, but all he was thinking about was himself. Well, at the end of the day, as much as we're like, oh my god, what, you shouldn't do that, that's wicked, don't shoot that person, don't do that, don't go to this place, don't but at the same time, we're like, oh my god, I don't want him to die, I want him to but I did not feel that way with Isha. Honestly, I would care less if he actually, like, if the character was killed, because he wasn't really doing much for me. He wasn't doing anything that I'm like, wow, I really love this character. The actor did a good job, but the character was not that likable, in my opinion. There were just also certain things that were just really rushed, like I said before. And another thing I just remembered was the kidnapping. He came together with his ex-girlfriend to kidnap his supposed best friend, and that kidnapping, it was like I blinked and it was over. Because after they kidnapped him, they didn't show us how he was released, nothing. That happens, but it just felt like they just wanted to just rush over everything, and that was it. We don't really, they tried to make us see that the friend is struggling with the fact that he was kidnapped and all of that, but it's like we're just having different things going on, and we're just trying to finish this quickly. That was just how I felt. That was a very important scene, for you to actually agree to kidnap your friend, your best friend. That's like the deepest parts of hell. because why would you do that? And it was like, in the blink of an eye, the best friend forgives him and he's trying to help him, do whatever they need to do to get out of the situation that he's in. I'm like, huh? How would I have a friend that plots to kidnap me, and within one business day, I'm back to being your friend? I'm talking to you like nothing happened. I'm trying to help you. No, I'm not going to do that. Like, there's no explanation for that, and that was just very unrealistic. I'm not saying that movies are real and everything that happens is real, but that was just very unrealistic. Where does that happen? I've never heard of anything like that in my life. So I did not like that. Was like, I didn't like how they dealt with that scene. I didn't like how they dealt with that scene at all. Again, when everything kept going and there was just everything back to back, the climax was a big letdown. It was a big letdown. First of all, this school is supposed to be like the most prestigious school in Nigeria, one of the best in the world, and they have very little security because Mr. Government, or Uncle Government, played by Bucci Franklin, who is one of the drug dealers that is making Ishaya work for him, he is able to get into this school, come in, go out, like he had a child there. I get that when you're going into certain schools and everything, you can lie that, oh, I'm going to see my nephew, I'm going to see my niece. But for such a school, I think your security is very low. I'm sure that in most of these schools, they usually have like IDs and ways in which they can identify themselves to prove that you're going to see somebody, because the security was just so low. Like, how are you able to just get in and out? That, by the way, in the climax, in the final episode, Bonale Nina Lowo, or Mr. Rambo, or Brother Rambo, he and all his thugs, they're able to just burst into the school. I get that they were working with some security men, but it just felt too easy for me. And then they came and they're with tasers, or like, are you serious right now? Are you serious? Are you guys not supposed to be like dangerous people? Where are the guns? Where are the cutlasses and the axes and all of that? Like, you guys came with tasers, like. And then the scene with Reggie just being Jackie Chan, that was very hilarious to me. That was just very hilarious, because from where to where, how did you get there? And all of a sudden he's fighting these thugs, these people that are meant to be thugs, and this one skinny, tall secondary school teenager is fighting two people at the same time. Come on, you guys, come on. That was hilarious to me. I just kept on laughing. I'm like, what am I watching? That is just so funny. I felt like that entire scene could have been done way better, because it's like you guys kept on going. So it's like when we got to the climax, it was not like, okay. Like, I didn't even feel like that was a climax. I didn't feel like that was like the final battle and all of that. I did not feel it at all. It was just like, okay, that's fine. It went like this and it was over. And it was just like, okay. But I would say that it was a good story. It was, although done before in different ways, it was very entertaining. It kept me seated from beginning to the end. I was like, okay, what's going to happen next? That they had that going for them. But it still felt rushed. I loved the soundtrack. It was amazing. It was just nice to hear and listen. I loved that the setting looked, it looked like they were suffering in Isha's house. Like, it really looked like they were poor and they were suffering. Like, it looked very believable. I liked the setting, and it just looked really nice. I also loved the school. I loved that it actually looked like a real high school that they paid so much money to get in. So that looked really, really nice to see. The uniforms looked really, really beautiful. All of that, I loved. All of that. The cinematography, I thought it was good. I thought, everything looked. I felt like it could have been just a tiny bit better, but for the most part, it was really nice to look at and all of that. I really give it to them. We never got to see Ikoyi Bridge, which, oh my god, I'm like, this, when I thought about it, I was like, wait, we actually never got to see the Ikoyi bridge in this series at all, which was amazing, because that's like one of the main things we always see in any of these shows or movies, and it just gets very tiring. Like, so I give it to them for not showing us any of that. Thank you guys. And I don't know if there's going to be a second season. I'm not sure I've seen any information regarding that, and which is my biggest problem with Nigerian shows. They just never give us updates, they just never say anything, they just do what they like when they like. So hopefully, maybe because it's a Netflix show, we might probably get some information, I hope. But I wouldn't want there to be a second season. I feel like they're trying to do something like the whole Blood and Water thing. Blood and Water has something good really going for them. I'm giving them 2 more seasons to quickly wrap it up. But we're not here for Blood and Water, we're here for Far From Home. So I don't know if there's going to be another season. With the ending, it kind of suggests that there's room for, you know, more development of the story. But I just feel like it might not be that necessary. Like, if they actually want to do anything, maybe just 1 more season with like 5 episodes. But what's the point of that? What's the point? Because what really are we going to do with another season? I don't know if that's really necessary. But you know, let's see what happens. If there's another season, I'm definitely still going to be watching regardless. And I will recommend Far From Home. If you're a fan of young adult movies or TV shows, then you should definitely see this. It's entertaining. It's going to keep you on your bed, on your seat, on your sofa, wherever you're watching from, and you're definitely going to enjoy it. So I would recommend this. And I'll probably give it a 7/10. I'll probably give it a 7/10 because I feel like there were just little things here and there that I wish could have been improved on. But yeah, I enjoyed watching this, and I hope you enjoyed this review. I feel like I've probably been talking a lot. I've been talking too much, but there was just so much going on with this movie that I had to just, you know, express and all of that. But I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this review. I really hope I'm able to do more reviews going forward in the future. And yeah, please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you're new here, please subscribe before leaving. Please subscribe and share this video, and also follow me on Instagram, Diary of a Movie Lover. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I would see you in my next video. Bye.